What's good, what's good, what's good? Let's discuss this. Rachel King was shot, killed by people she didn't even know. What the hell? Check the story out.
Now at 4 o'clock, a cold-blooded murder carried out in front of the victim's son. That's how Montgomery County's DA described the shooting death of a Cheltenham Township mother who was gunned down at a drive-thru earlier this month. Today, the DA announced 2 arrests in that case and detailed the elaborate plot to have her killed. It is Wednesday afternoon. I'm Brian Taff.
And I'm Sarah Bloomquist. The big story on Action News, the arrest of 2 suspects for the murder of 35-year-old school teacher Rachel King. Authorities say this all started when King's longtime boyfriend ended a relationship with one of the suspects.
Action News reporter Sharifa Jackson live outside the Montgomery County Courthouse in Norristown today with more on the disturbing details laid out by investigators this morning. Sharifa.
Yeah, Brian, Sarah, the Montgomery County District Attorney says the plan to kill King, it was orchestrated over 2 months. In the days and weeks leading up to her murder, that she was watched and she was followed. Now, the District Attorney also says that neither the shooter nor the woman they believe was the mastermind behind this plot knew the victim. Today, the Montgomery County District Attorney, Kevin Steele, identified 35-year-old Julie Jean as the mastermind behind this brutal killing and 33-year-old Zakkee Alhakim as the shooter. Both are charged with murder and conspiracy in the death of 35-year-old Rachel King, killed in cold blood in this Cheltenham Dunkin Donuts drive-thru April 11th.
It was a murder for hire. It is a horrific killing of an innocent young teacher in front of her 11-year-old son.
The DA says King had been in a long-term relationship with a man named William Hayes, who had an affair with Jean last year. He obtained a protection from abuse order in December after Jean allegedly continued to harass both Hayes and the victim. But it didn't stop there. Officials say Jean then reached out to Alhakim, plotted and planned to murder King, exchanging pictures of King and maps of her home. The DA said they purchased a ghost gun and a car to follow and stalk King. Ballistic evidence would later connect King's murder to shell casings collected in a Philadelphia murder that happened 4 days prior on the 5100 block of North Broad Street.
We didn't recover the gun, but we recovered a photo that our experts say it's consistent with the gun that was used in both murders.
King was a beloved mother and teacher at Grover Cleveland Mastery Charter School, where she taught for 10 years.
The district attorney says that Rachel King was the victim of a months-long murder-for-hire plot and did not know either of her alleged killers.
Today is when justice begins for Rachel.
Montgomery County District Attorney Kevin Steele says that justice for Rachel King begins with the arrest of 33-year-old Zakkee Alhakim and 34-year-old Julie Jean. He alleges the duo planned King's murder for months, with Alhakim ultimately carrying it out in this Dunkin Donuts parking lot on April 7th as King went through the drive-thru with her son in the back seat.
The shooter didn't even know Rachel, and the mastermind of the plot didn't know her either. Yet she was filled with enough hatred to work to have Rachel killed.
Prosecutors allege that hatred came after King's longtime boyfriend, William Hayes, ended an affair with Jean to work on his relationship with King, who was a single mother and beloved Philadelphia elementary school teacher.
Jean harassed both Hayes and the victim, watching them, texting them, calling so much that Hayes actually sought court relief, filing and receiving a protection from abuse order on Julie Jean last December.
Steele says the pair purchased a Mercury Sable under Jean's name on March 30th, days before it was seen on surveillance video following King into the Dunkin Donuts. Investigators also discovered several pieces of evidence on their cell phones, including a photo of King, a map of her apartment complex, a pin drop on her home, and this.
13 minutes before meeting with our detectives, Jean deleted 787 text messages.
Damn.
Steele says hours after his office released surveillance photos of the Sable on the day King was killed, Philadelphia police tracked it down, but Alhakim, who was the driver, took off and ultimately crashed. As it turns out, investigators say the car was used in another killing in North Philly on April 7th, 3 days before King was murdered. Investigators say cartridge casings found at both of...
Crazy story, over 700 texts, stalking, planning, plotting. Be careful out there, man. You got a hater. Be careful out there. Let me know what you think. I'm out of here.